Edit Rates. To access Edit Rates, click on Reservations and Quoting, and then select Edit Rates. Edit Rates is where you will set up and create rate sets to assign to one or more properties. For example, you could define a set of rates for 3-bedroom standard properties and assign this rate set to all 3-bedroom standard properties in your system. These properties would share all the same date bands and rates. Another example is to create individual rate sets for each property, so each property can have its own date bands and rates. There are seasons, date bands, and rates within a rate set. You can create unlimited rate sets for each property in your system. Before we create your rate sets, we will need to configure your general rate settings. To do so, click on the General Rate Settings tab. General rate settings are the default settings automatically applied to new rate sets. When creating a new rate set, would you like the system to default to daily, weekly, or monthly rate sets? If you do select that it is a monthly rate set, assume how many days in a month. Typically, management companies enter the average amount of days in a month into this field. Also, if it is a monthly rate set, would you like the system to combine daily, weekly, and your monthly rates? For example, guest booking is a total of 1 month, 2 weeks, and 3 days. The system will combine the 1 month, the 2 weeks, and the 3 days, and that will be the grand total of their reservation. Quote rates based on arrival date band only. For example, if the guests are arriving during a high season and depart on a low season period, if enabled, the system will apply the high season rates to their entire booking. If unapplied, the system will prorate the seasons based on the split of the date bands. When adding a new date band, would you like your guests to arrive and depart on any day? If not, let's say you do not want guests arriving on your weekends, simply untick the weekend days. Default minimum night stays to. Enter your default minimum night requirement. This can be overridden on a per-season basis. Now that we have configured your general rate settings, we are ready to create new rate sets. So let's go back to your Rate Sets tab. To create a new rate set, click on the New Set button and enter the description name of this new set. Typically, management companies enter the name of the property or the property type, like 3-bedroom standard. I'm going to create rates for a specific property. To override what's been applied to your general rate settings, select to use either daily, weekly, or monthly rates. I'm going to keep it as the default setting, and then click Add. Now we have created a new rate set for a specific property. Now we will need to add the date bands, seasons, and the rates that are attached to the selected rate set. Adding a date band. Click on the Add Date Band button. Enter the date from by clicking on the drop-down menu, and the to date. Enter the daily rate, weekly rate, and monthly rate. You also have the option to enter the daily floor rate, which is the wholesale or discounted rate available to your travel agents or tour operators. Instead of creating 2 different rate sets for one property, one with your retail rates and one with your discounted rates, both retail and wholesale rates could be entered into one rate set. And then enter the minimum night requirement for this date band or season. Click Add. A new row will appear with all the data that we have just entered. If you need to override what you initially entered, click on each column and enter the new amounts if necessary. Repeat the same process. It is recommended to enter rates for at least 2 years. The system cannot quote for a future date if you only enter a few months that have been assigned a value. So go ahead and repeat the same steps by clicking on Add Date Band, entering the from date, to date, the daily rate, weekly rate, monthly rate, floor rate, and the minimum night requirement, and then click Add. Once you have at least 18 months, remember to click Save. We know creating rate sets for each property or property types can be time consuming. We have developed a tool where you can copy date ranges or entire date sets to other properties. This can save time if you have many properties. To copy rate sets, firstly, we'll need to create the new set by clicking on the New Set button. Enter the description name of this new set, and then click Add. To copy date ranges and rates, click on the Copy Rates button. Select the rate set that you would like to copy from. I'm going to select the main retreat rate set because I've completely configured this rate set. Select whether to copy the date ranges and rates or just the date ranges only, and then click Copy. As you can see, it will automatically copy over all of the date ranges that have been applied to that rate set. You'll just have to go in and enter the rates. Or if you've selected to copy the date ranges and rates, the rates will also appear here. Now that we have created rate sets for each property or property type, we will need to assign these rate sets to the actual properties in the system. To assign a set of rates to a property, click on the Assign Rate Sets to Properties tab. A list of all of your existing properties will then appear here in this panel. You'll select which rate set applies to the selected property.